Jadelyn. I know you can't see my face, I just haven't figured out how to switch it yet, but this is my design for Endgame, Project 4. I decided to do scenery and properties aspect of Endgame, and I decided to do those two because I obviously had to do scenery, and I have never done props before, so I really wanted to give it a try and push myself. And as I was reading Endgame, my first thought was really loneliness. Even though that Clav and Ham were together, I thought they felt alone. So I tried to look up some emotional images with a single person, or a dark room, such as like a single person on the bridge, or a walkway. This one really reminded me of Ham a little bit. This one reminded me of Clav because he's just alone in a dark room looking out the window. That one really spoke to me. This one is a little bit like Ham wanting to look out the window but he can't, and just a little alone girl. And like the dark room and being like literally alone, really, that's what loneliness looks like to me. And I just think that Clav and Ham, even though they're together, they feel alone in their own ways. Next up for scenery, I first wanted to start with the smaller windows because I kind of knew where I wanted to put them, but I didn't really know what to do with them. And this is the first picture that really stuck out to me because I really liked how like just open these windows were. And this one, I really liked the placement of these windows, and this is the one that I probably related to the most when I was drawing, except for the fact that I did this openness right here. And this third one, I also liked the placement of this one a little bit because they were a little bit closer together. And for the next thing on scenery, it was the walls. And I was really debating between like a concrete wall or a brick wall. But I decided to go with a concrete wall because I thought it would fit better, just like a lightish gray concrete wall. This one I liked it because it was a little dirty, so I kind of wanted it to be dirtier with like cracks in it. And this was probably the photo that I related to the most because I liked the light gray, I liked the texture that it had, and I liked the cracks that were in it as well. And next thing I decided to go for was flooring. And I knew that I wanted a different color flooring than the rest of the room, which was gray. So I decided to go with like a lighter brown hardwood floor. And I kind of wanted it to be like really old, but I didn't. Yeah, but basically, I used this as inspiration to do what I wanted to do. Next thing I did was for properties, and it was the bins. And I had this really big bin. I had small bins. I had this one, which was probably the most one that I looked back on. It was really inspirational for me. Just some garbage cans too, because I was debating on if I should do garbage cans for Nag and Nell. I got a lot of garbage cans ones, and this one really helped me realize that there was people in the garbage cans, well, the bins. But this is one that I probably went with the most. I mixed together all three of the things that I found. Instead of a big or small or a metal garbage can, I went with a medium-sized bin that was metal, and I added a sliding top so that Nag and Nell, Clav could slide the top open and the Nag and Nell could pop out. So I meshed them all together. And the next thing was the wheelchair that I was going to focus on. I just looked up some simple pictures of wheelchairs because I didn't really want the wheelchair to be the main focus of the play. Like, I wanted it to be like the center of attention when Ham was sitting on it, but I didn't want it to be like a throne because it didn't feel like that's what it should be. So I ended up just going with like a normal black and white wheelchair, which ended up helping me later on. Next thing is like the elements of design. I decided that since there weren't many other colors of gray, it would help emphasize the actors. Because as you see, I have a lot of gray going on. Gray here, 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 even in the windows. So then I used obviously a variety of gray. I got like a light gray, a medium gray, and a dark gray, so you could tell which part was which, and they didn't all like mesh together. And there was some contrast in between each of the objects. I tried to add some texture to the wall right here to make it look like it was more of a concrete wall with some cracks every once in a while. And I also added a little bit of texture to the floor to try and make it look like it was hardwood, which was a lot harder than I imagined that it would be, especially on paper that's not watercolor. I ended up trying to make everything like flow in harmony by trying to make everything like the size that it would be where it is on stage. And I tried to make the room kind of look like a whole, which I think I did. I attempted to do the right proportions in every object. I made the emphasis on the wheelchair in the painting just because it was the darkest object and that's where one of the actors will be sitting. And it catches my eye when it's the first thing that I look at, and it's in the center of the room. And I tried to keep a pattern going on the wall, which was a consistent color, and the way that I was stroking my brush, which goes back to the texture. But yeah, this is my project for